how storytelling helps child in their development.
Stories are something that stays with a child forever.
So, what inspired you to open a cafe?
When we just allow the kids to be themselves and allow them just to explore things on their own, they come up with beautiful ideas. This little kid, as they were going back to their class, she just came to me and she said, "Ma'am, when will I get an opportunity to listen to your story next time?"
Welcome to KalamVeer, dear Lekha ma'am.
Thank you so much.
What are we without stories, and what is that without education? Education and stories goes hand in hand. We always believe that in Mayoor. And stories not just give beautiful experience to the children, but also teach them the values of life. You have started a cafe, and you are also a storyteller and a parent. So, and also an educationist. So, what inspired you to open a cafe?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Mayoor School for this wonderful opportunity. And coming to your question, like what inspired me to start Cafe the Twins, I would say it more than an inspiration, it was a means, to keep alive my passion for literature, and at the same time, get this time, to look after my kids. Because I feel that a full-time job would not give me that opportunity, a 9-to-5 job. So when you have your own setup, you get that flexibility of even, juggling between the two role of an entrepreneur and also role of a mother. So I think Cafe the Twins has given me that kind of space where I can serve literature, provide a space for literature lovers, for artists, poets, authors, and at the same time raise my twin daughters also.
Lekha ma'am, you being a storyteller, how storytelling helps child in their development?
That's a very good question, I guess, like how stories helps in a child's development. There are innumerable benefits of storytelling, and if I just talk about it, I think this particular, it would take a whole lot of time. But one particular thing that I would want to emphasize is that stories are something that stays with a child forever. Not with a child only, for that matter, it stays with us forever, with everyone, be it a child or even an adult. So that is the power of a story or of storytelling. It is really very transformative. So if we use storytelling as a means, to teach a child about a concept, maybe a very complex concept as such as the idea of consent, because why I want to talk about is this, because recently I had gone to Tejpur Lit Fest. I had been invited there to talk about consent, about good touch and bad touch through the medium of stories. So even a very complex idea such as consent or about body boundaries can be taught to kids in a very effective way. And this is something which will remain in their mind. It will be etched in their mind forever. And it's a very good tool, to help them and help them understand complex ideas such as consent. So when I did this particular session, I could see, the curiosity in their eyes, and that glow in their eyes as the story got unfolded. And I also use a lot of activities during the course of the session. And it was a playway method of teaching kids. And I think that they learn also better. Okay. And they also listen to stories because, stories are really very engaging.
Yes, yes.
and kids really love stories. So if they are interested in listening to stories, and they learn better, that is what I feel. So it's a very important tool of even teaching kids about different concepts, different ideas. So I think it's a very transformative kind of
Yes,
tool.
that will, get them prepared for life.
Yes, yeah. And other than that, it enhances a child's vocabulary. It enhances a child's communicative skills, literacy skills, listening, speaking, reading, writing. So there are innumerable benefits, I feel.
Yes. And also, I would like to talk about the bedtime stories. Like these days, when I see parents, they are always busy on phones, like watching reels and all. But when I was a kid, and bedtime story was, used to be my ritual. It like I couldn't sleep without bedtime stories. So how much it is important in today's world, the bedtime story kind of thing to the kids.
Bedtime stories are a very important way, and a very fun way also of introducing kids to reading and also to stories, I guess. And parents, being first educators of their children, of their kids, I feel they need to introduce bedtime stories, especially when they are sleeping, bedtime stories to the kids. Yeah, so as I told you, that bedtime stories is an important means of introducing kids to the magical world of stories and reading and books. So in this era, in this digital era, as you say, that most of the kids we've seen that they are more into their engrossed inside their mobile phones and all, and lesser of reading happens. That is one scenario. And at the same time, we don't find parents, if it is okay to say, we don't find parents spending a quality time with their kids. Because parents are very busy in their own, to make a livelihood, okay, and in their other engagements too. And at the same time, I feel, bedtime stories is one way of even bonding, creating that bond between the parents and the children. So at the end of the day, when you are very tired, you're exhausted, so just take out that small time, that maybe a half an hour time of sitting with your kid, with a book, or you can just create your own stories. So bedtime stories can also be a means of bonding with your child, which we hardly do these days. We don't find that time. Yeah, so the lifestyle, our lifestyle has become such. So I think that is also one.
Yeah, it is very important, because in this digital era, the emotional values or emotional quotient of a child is totally dependable on the reels they are scrolling. They see 15-second reels and they are happy for one period of time, and then next their emotions are changing. And bedtime stories can streamline and focus their emotions and their this focus in one segment, rather than mingling here and there.
Yeah, so talking about emotions, I feel even stories plays a very important role. I feel that now there's an emotional disconnect. There's an emotional disconnect that we are all facing. And maybe stories are an important means, to make a child, what do you say, to build that empathy in the child. Yes. Empathy in the child, where he is, he respects and values other person's feelings and emotions. So stories also help in developing empathy. That's other very important aspect of stories and storytelling.
So you are hosting a lot of events at your cafe, and we can see, every week there is something or the other happening. Like Cafe the Twins is such a happening place. And we at Mayoor also host a lot of events for our kids, like from toddlers to teenagers. And what is the age bracket you are focused at, and what are you doing for particular age? Can you highlight some?
Uh, Focusing on a particular age, I don't know whether we focus on a particular age, but that depends on the events that we usually organize, But when it comes to the audience, we have a variety of people joining us. So it's you can consider it to be an intergenerational kind of audience also. For some events we have even people who are a bit aged coming for it, but we have even very young people coming, and sometimes we have even kids. So for certain events, so that also depends on the kind of event that we are organizing. So we have like monthly storytelling sessions I conduct for kids under the banner Katha Ghar. So that's a story space where monthly storytelling sessions are held. Along with it, other activities also are organized. So that is especially for kids. Mostly aged 6 to 12 years. So that is what we are focusing right now. So sometimes we have for 5-year to 6-year-old also, but mostly we conduct storytelling sessions for kids 6 years and above. So
Apart from storytelling, are there any kind of events for kids at your cafe?
apart from storytelling, once we did a creative writing workshop for kids, and if I'm not mistaken, many people told me that this was the first time that it was happening in somewhere in and around Siliguri, that such kind of initiative was taken where a creative writing workshop was organized for kids. So it was a two-day workshop, whole day workshop, where me along with Anurima Chanda, okay, so she's also a children's writer. So she has published books from many renowned publishers like DK Books, Scholastic, and so on and so forth. So it was a collaboration between her and me. So we did this creative writing workshop for kids, and the response was really very good. And when we just allow the kids to be themselves and allow them just to explore things on their own, they come up with beautiful ideas. So it was really very heartwarming to see the stories that like the kids came up with. So first 2 days, like as I just mentioned also, you can teach very complex ideas to kids in a very easy way through storytelling. So I taught them about the different aspects of a story, like of writing, writing a story through a story. So I told them a story about a mouse. So where I tried to incorporate all the elements of a story, and that is how I just told them this is how a story should look like when you write. And then the other technical aspects, since Anurima is a writer, she taught them that. So in these 2 days workshop, they came up with their own stories. And after that we had a follow-up session also, where we gave them a little bit of idea, very preliminary idea about how do you edit. Okay, what's the role of an editor, what's the role of an illustrator. So because for a book, apart from the writer, these are different elements also, which is very important. So that is one, apart from storytelling, that is one workshop that we had done. And there are many others. I don't know whether we have enough time to talk about it. So, yeah.
Mayoor is also hosting a lot of events. Like recently, we had Junior Master Chef, and we could see a lot of participations of our students. And apart from our students, also there were a lot of other students, other schools students participation. And we could see our kids so much engrossed in culinary art. We could see that they are also interested in cooking. What instance, or do we have any instance to share where you have inspired any student or any kids that way?
Okay, I would just want to share, I think, two incidents. Okay, one was I was invited to this school in Dude. Okay, it's called Friendship School. So where had gone for a storytelling session only, and after the storytelling session, the principal told me next day they had a function. It seems they had a function. Maybe it was a Teachers' Day function or something, and one particular kid, there were different performances by the school children. So some kids sang, there was a dance performance and all. But this little kid, he came and said that I want to narrate a story. I want to tell a story. Mm-hmm. So the principal was saying this happened just after your storytelling session, wow. Just one day after your storytelling session. So when she narrated this incident to me, I felt really happy, because when we ask children these days, maybe most of the children would not say that they would want to be a storyteller. They have other different dreams. But it was good to see this kid coming on stage and saying that I want to tell a story. So maybe in some ways I was able to spark that, that little storyteller, yes, in him, and he came and told a story in front of the teachers and the principal. So this is something which was really a heart-touching
moment for you.
Moment for me. This is one. It may not seem that significant, mm-hmm. But yeah,
but it is very special to you.
Yeah, it was special to me. Mm-hmm. So this is one particular incident. The second is when I was now I'm pursuing my diploma course in storytelling, wow, from Kathalaya International Academy, mm-hmm. Bangalore. Yes. So there, as a part of the diploma course, we had to go and tell stories to a school. Mm-hmm. They only had arranged for it. So we had to go and tell a story to Greenwood School in Bangalore. Mm-hmm. So it was we were divided into different groups. So 2 people telling a story to kids. So me with my, you can see my partner Lata. Okay, so we had to tell a story called The Princess and the Kind Dragon. Mm-hmm. So I had to tell the story to that, to the kids. So it was a very, I was a bit nervous because telling a story in front of your mentor, mm-hmm. Geeta Ramanujan, okay? Mm-hmm. So she's one of the pioneers of storytelling in India. So telling a story in front of her is something, you feel nervous, scary, yes. Scary, how would she respond to it? But the session went off really well. And this little kid, as they were going back to their class, she just came to me, mm-hmm. and she said, ma'am, when will I get an opportunity to listen to your story next time, And this was something, I felt so, I felt so good. I was so happy, that she wanted to listen to my story again. Mm-hmm. But I don't know when that would happen because she's somewhere in Bangalore and I'm here. So I said, maybe sometime in future. So these little kind of, what do you say?
Instances.
Yeah, instances and responses from little children.
Gives you joy.
Yeah, it gives me a lot of joy, and it also inspires me to keep on
bringing more, and
keep
telling
on
more
stories, reaching out to kids and all. Yeah.
So I asked you what inspired you to be a owner at cafe, but I didn't ask you what inspired or what sparked you to be a storyteller. Okay. So please highlight what inspired or what was that spark. I want to understand that spark thing.
Okay. So I started Kathagar long time back. It was it's been 3-4 years that I started this story space called Kathagar. I first started it as the Little Explorers Club, okay, and but because of lockdown, initially we just had 3 or 4 kids coming in, and I used to constantly look around for storytellers who would come and tell stories to our kids. So it started off as the Little Explorers Club. But during because of lockdown and all, the sessions got discontinued and all. But I wanted to start afresh again with a new name. So that's why I thought that let's start with a name that every community can identify
Yes.
with. So Katha Ghar, it's someone from Nepali
Community
can I
also-
from a Hindi speaking or a Bengali. So Katha Ghar is something which everyone would relate to.
Yes.
Not so that's how we started. We thought of the name and we came up with Katha Ghar, nurturing the young through stories. And since I could not find any storyteller to come regularly to tell stories to our kids, I started telling stories. I said, okay, let
me just explore this genre.
let me, because I was not that confident initially, because I started off my career as a teacher. Like, I taught to grown up kids, college going kids. So I was not sure how would I handle small kids. So it was very challenging for me. And so I think I won't. I guess I won't be able to do it. But I said, let's give it a try. And then I started telling stories to kids who would come for my storytelling sessions. So initially it was just telling stories out of passion, not knowing the art of actually telling a story, because storytelling is an art.
Yes.
And there is a very different aspect to how you need to tell a story, so that you can keep kids engaged, and at the same time they can learn out of it, get the most out of it. So there's a different art to it only. So initially it was just out of passion. I used to tell stories, but later I realized that no, I need to hone my skills.
Yes.
And I need to learn the art of storytelling, so that I can give my best to the kids who come for regular sessions. So I was thinking that I was not being able to give my best. So then I started searching for any kind of course that would offer a kind of training in the art of storytelling. Then I came across International Academy of Storytelling. So it's the only academy of storytelling that provides a course to storytellers. So then I enrolled for that course, and then life just changed, and that is one reason. And the other reason also, maybe being a mother of twins.
Yes.
I wanted to introduce them to the wonderful world of stories. So along with the kids of Katha Ghar, even my kids are learning.
Yes.
And
yes. And also, it seems that you also love stories. So, can you share any childhood instances where stories were your friend, or anything as such?
Particular story. Okay, I would just like to share something from my childhood, whether you can you can consider it as a story only, because this is something from my memory I would like to share. I studied at Loreto Convent School, Shillong, and during those, especially during rainy season, when it used to rain heavily, we were not allowed to, we were in, I was studying in nursery during that time, and we had this long corridor. Okay, we had this long corridor, and it had kind of glass windows, and we were not allowed to leave till our parents would come and call out our names, tell the ayah, tell the ayah that so and so name has been called out, and then only we were allowed to leave. So we had to be in that corridor, all of us, all the children, eagerly waiting for our parents to come and fetch us. So one day it was like raining very heavily. Not one day, but always during rainy seasons. Parents would come with colorful umbrellas, beautiful colorful umbrellas, different designs, different colors, some having those polka dots on them, some having little flowers on them, and some just plain black colors, some pretty bright colors. So what we used to do, we used to play a game during that time, like waiting for our parents to come. We used to get bored. So what we used to do, like, we had to spot the most beautiful umbrellas, and whoever would spot it, whoever would spot it, that umbrella would be theirs.
Oh, okay.
So like, okay, this is mine. So if he spots that, or he or she spots that, then that is their umbrella. So
umbrella.
the spotting the most beautiful umbrella, you can call that game. So it was that game that we used to play during the rainy
Okay,
season.
okay.
So and we would be eagerly looking, our like which umbrella could we spot and tell that it's mine. And once we say that, the other person can not take it away.
Okay.
So that is one
Instance, okay.
story that has remained in my
Uh-huh.
memory for a long time.
And which you can, use to the kids also.
Spotting your favorite umbrella.
Umbrella, yes.
The story of spotting your favorite umbrella, I
Umbrella,
guess. So that,
yes.
this can be used as a story.
Story.
Also for kids. And
Yes.
even, after telling the story, they can also draw, images of different umbrellas on a rainy day.
Yes. What a wonderful. I got nostalgic. Okay, so like we at Mayoor School, we have a holistic approach towards education, be it archery, be it skating, be it sports, be it theaters, be it academics, everything we have in one roof. You being a storyteller and you being in contact with kids, a lot of kids, what are the other approaches should take forward for child's holistic development?
One particular thing is which I would like to suggest is like incorporating stories as a part of the curriculum. I feel because I think I have told this repeatedly. Any complex idea that you want your child to learn, and understand in a very effective way, I think that can be done through the medium of stories. So, like, I'll just give you another example of a session that we had done. We wanted to teach kids about the disastrous effect of plastic bags. So we had done one session. So and what we did is just telling them, showing through a textbook. Okay, these are the ill effects of plastics. You just read out to them, and okay, write down write down 5 disadvantages of using a plastic. So that would be very boring for a kid. So they'll just write it down, and maybe they might just not remember it that well. But what we did is, I took a story, and through the story, I just tried to show the kids how plastics is affecting the environment, and how we need to be aware of it. And then after the story, we had a lot of activities around it, and we tried what we also do is it's not only the teacher telling and instructing, but even we tell the kids to share their viewpoint. So after a story is done, we do such kind of interactive games and activities for their kids, where they are also sharing their viewpoints, their perspective, and then it's a kind of two-way learning process, where not only the teacher is learning, but also not only the student is learning, but also the teacher is learning. So there's an exchange of ideas, sharing of ideas. So and if we provide such kind of environment to the kids, I think they learn better.
Yes.
So this is one thing we do. And we also I also try to use a lot of playway method, where I try to create such kind of games, interesting games around the particular concept that I want to teach them. So then when there are games, then there's a lot of fun, and when there's fun, they learn it. It's easy to learn. So that is one thing, and I think if schools incorporate that, it would be really very good.
So you are doing a lot of storytelling sessions inside the school and outside also. Can you name any events where you have done storytelling sessions?
I have been doing a lot of storytelling sessions in different schools, some in and around Siliguri, some private schools, and even in some government schools. And just, I think I mentioned about this also earlier, that recently I had been invited to Tejpur Lit Fest, where I had to conduct a session on consent. So this is how I am trying to, keep alive the tradition of storytelling. Um, and yes, just recently also I had been invited to a government school. And it's located in the outskirts of Siliguri. So that was also a very wonderful experience. And it's very different. Each storytelling session is different because kids coming from different backgrounds, and then and how I need to, as a storyteller, I need to adapt to it. Adapt to the background from where the child comes. So different session is very different, and it's a great learning experience for me. Each session, I what do you say? I just go back home and just try to write it down. What I learned from each session and how I can modify it or improve on it. So yeah, so that is how I'm.
And also, you are also organizing events, and organizing an event is not a easy task. We have to always upskill ourselves. We have to always, manage a lot of things. And also, you are a parent. Like, what other initiatives you are taking to build Cafe the Twins or build Kathaghar as your organization?
Yeah, I really agree to your statement of hosting and organizing an event is not an easy task, and it becomes even challenging when it is a kind of event related to books and literature. And the biggest challenge is of getting audience. We may have a writer, a very renowned writer, who wants to do a reading at our book cafe. If I may say, that is easier, and I think that is more easier than getting an audience for that particular book reading. But by God's grace, God has been really kind, and we have been able to get a good audience for our writers and even for our authors, or for any event that we have been conducting at Cafe the Twins. What other initiatives I would like to take in the future for the cafe's overall development and all. That's something you want to know. Yeah, so yes, we are just thinking of doing events again. Like every month we try to come up with an event. So that one reason is we need to have that visibility. There are so many cafes around, so for that visibility also we keep on coming up with different events, even though it is challenging, but that is something which our space is meant for, for having lively discussions. It's a meeting point of ideas, so we need to keep that going. So even if that is challenging, we have to do it. And as for Kathaghar is like, yes, I do my monthly storytelling sessions, but whenever I try to come up with a story, I have to do a lot of research. It's just coming up with a story and telling a story to a kid. That doesn't work. Because the most important thing is, as a storyteller, is to find the right kind of story. You have to keep in mind the child always. What story would resonate with them. I cannot just pick up a story because I like it and tell to the kids. So I need to keep that in mind. So selecting the right kind of story that would appeal to the kids, and finding the story, that is the first part. The next part is like thinking of activities, games, and just to make it interesting and fun for them.
So what is your research method, or would you like to highlight any research activity?
I am at present trying to work on food stories, okay, food stories, where I want to tell stories about, food, or you can say local food of our region. So this is also one way of introducing kids to our culture, our food habits. Because from my personal experience also, my kids, they talk about taco. What is this taco? Some kind of
Yes.
food, which I think I'm not super familiar with, or they are more familiar with
Burgers,
pizzas, French fries, because we only have introduced them to such service. We are also some ways responsible.
Yes.
We only have introduced them to such kind of food, but I feel that they are not aware of our food. Yeah, so I want to introduce through stories. I want to familiarize kids with the local food items that has
That
been a
is,
part of
yes,
our
day-to-day life.
yeah, day-to-day life, and
Our-
through that even try to show them how nutritious they
They
are,
are,
yeah,
okay.
in comparison to the junk food that they prefer. So I'm working on that.
That is like so generous of you.
But let's see how they would respond also. So for that, suppose I want to tell them a story about Gundruk, okay, so then read a lot of articles about Gundruk, know the history, the background, and then now after doing that, maybe articles, research articles, then after that create a story around that, create an imaginary boju baje or something like that, and include a bit of songs in between to make it more appealing to the kids. So that is something I'm working on.
Okay.
And yeah.
Any further projects or any future project you would like to highlight?
Yeah, we are working on children's literature too. Children's literature, which would, I think the announcement would be made very soon, but for the time being, I just want to say that we are working on children's literature, and where we would like to bring out stories of lesser known, unsung heroes of our region. Yeah, so that they can find role models from this part of the world only.
So you are an entrepreneur, a storyteller, and also a parent. So any advice you would like to give to the teachers or young mothers who are, honing their life?
Yeah, I think I would just like to request parents, teachers, or that please incorporate stories into your lives, into the lives of your kids, and reading should not be an alternative. I think it should be it should be an indispensable part of your daily routine also, and your kids daily routine too, because it has I think I've already spoken about it. It is very powerful. Stories are really very powerful, and it would lead to a holistic development of your child. So but also keep in mind that we should not be very prescriptive, in the sense that we should not prescribe what they should read, because we as mothers or parents, we have that kind of, what do you say, innate, or maybe we have that natural instinct of
you have to-
you read this
Yeah.
book, not this. So let the child select, and maybe you could just sometimes read a story, or you can just say, okay, today we'll read a story that is of your choice, okay, and after we finish this, next day we'll read a story that is of my choice. So in that ways, you'll also, the child will feel, okay, I also have a voice, my view, my perspective is also important.
Valued,
Yeah, it is valued. So in that ways, in a very fun way, you can introduce the world of books and stories to your child. So you can start off with bedtime stories, and usually kids love ghost stories. So you can start off with that, and you can just do a kind of performance where you act as a ghost, and in this way, very interesting ways where you can include stories into the world of your child. And then after reading a story, maybe ask questions, which character did you like? Okay, if you wanted a different ending to the story, what would it be? So it sparks their curiosity also, okay, they would want to give an alternative ending to the story. Okay, so the monster takes away the princess. That is how the story ends. But if you want a different ending to the story, what would it be? The parent can ask the child, and the child, then you'll see with what creative ideas he comes up with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
So, Lekha ma'am, thank you so much for giving us your time. Mayoor School is very grateful for your insights about storytelling and its importance for child's development. I hope our viewers are also engaged through our conversation, and we are very delighted to have you at our KalamVeer.
Thank you, Lubina Baini, and I would once again like to thank Mayoor School for giving me this platform to share about the importance of stories and storytelling for kids, and how important it is to unleash the magical world of stories to kids. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.